Wow. Good evening, everyone. I'm so excited. My name is Gladys Njura, very, very excited and very honored to stand in for Paul, our Director of Sales East Africa. He's asked me this evening to actually invite our very able, my uplines actually, very, very able and exciting uplines who've been with us every other Thursday, learning so much. Thumbs up to Pascal and Betty Oloo. We treasure you. You have no idea. And this evening, we are more than delighted to have you once again to take us through the session, ready to learn and ready to move it. So guys, help me welcome Betty to take it on from here. Thank you, and please let's learn. Asante sana.
Asante sana, Gladys. Glad to be here and today welcoming you to our place in Nairobi. So today you are not visiting us in Pretoria, you are visiting us in Nairobi. Imagine. So I also want to welcome those of us who had the good opportunity to go to Dubai. I understand there was a lot of shopping done and much money spent. And well done. We hope you enjoyed and you have many, many happy memories to treasure. This evening, it's my great pleasure to join you once again. And I was getting amused. My session today is about children's nutrition. And I saw Chris Mwindi has got a little child who is very excited to be attending the training this evening and is waving and waving. So very welcome to the young, also of course, welcome to the parents. And I think I'm speaking for many of us who are parents that for us, one of the main reasons why we work hard at our businesses is because of our children, for ensuring not only their health, but also securing their future and trying to give them what they need to live a good life. So my session today is about children's nutrition. And the reason why I think this is important is that Neolife has taken the trouble to actually develop products which are specifically for the nutrition of children. And we know that today we need to focus on having that healthy lifestyle from a very early age, because illnesses that did not used to exist in children are becoming quite common in children, because I think you're aware that childhood obesity is, even in Africa, is becoming a steadily. I'm seeing quite a number of little ones joining me today. Welcome all the young people and the little ones who are on this call. And I hope that you are going to listen and learn, because it is never too early to learn. In fact, what you learn now will help you for very many years to come. So I wanted to start right from the beginning with expectant moms, because of course we know that the babies are already alive 9 months before we meet them, and we need to start thinking about their needs even before they are born. And one of the things we recommend for expectant moms is to address any stress issues that could be hindering their good health. So stress should be minimized or resolved so that it doesn't interfere with their health during pregnancy. They also need to try to eat healthy, natural foods. We know that during pregnancy, sometimes there are funny food cravings or dislikes, and so expectant moms may struggle with making good food choices. But I think it's worth experimenting and trying to have a combination of good, healthy, non-processed foods, and to eliminate from the diet the unhealthy things like sodas and junk food and so on. Because apart from being bad for the health of the mom and the child, it can also start the child on an unhealthy route even that early. And it can lead to unwanted weight gain, which can further down the line, even after the baby is born, lead to the mom not being able to maintain a healthy weight. So those healthy habits should already be an important part of an expectant mom's life, and elimination of toxic things like cleaning things, as well as and healthy foods should be an important part of preparing for the coming little one. So at this stage, for expectant moms, we recommend a number of products from Neolife. The first one we recommend is multimineral, because we know at this stage the mom requires her own nutritional needs and those of the little one. So multimineral is very important because it makes sure that the mom has got all the different minerals that her body requires to maintain her needs and the needs of the baby. We also recommend vitamin B complex, and just as multimineral is a family of minerals, vitamin B complex is a family of vitamin B members. So sometimes you may go to your doctor and they may give you one member of the vitamin B, like folate. Folate is one of the B vitamins, but they are a family. So in Neolife, they have developed the whole B group as a family. And that way they support each other in maintaining your health needs for this vitamin, which is very important in pregnancy. It's also important in maintaining energy, because sometimes as a result of nausea or just the hormonal changes, an expectant mom may struggle to keep her energy levels up. And vitamin B will really help with that. On top of which, we also recommend ProVitality, because we know ProVitality has got omega-3 salmon oil, which plays an important role not only in the health of the mom, but in the development of the little one's brain. So it's important to have, if the budget is constrained, at least if they cannot get the whole ProVitality, it's important to get the omega-3 salmon oil. But if it's possible, get the whole of ProVitality, because in there you are going to get threonine, you are going to get the omega-3, you are going to get multi, and you're going to get carotenoid complex. So this is a very good combination to add. And we can also say that if the expectant mom is struggling with nausea, then some moms, I also, when I was expecting my youngest child, who was born when we were already in the business, I found Aloe Vera Plus very helpful, okay? So for the expectant moms, those are our recommendations, that they can start to use those products in ensuring the needs of both themselves and the baby. Then once the baby comes, we know an important thing to attend to is breastfeeding, because many of us, I'm sure, know that the breast milk is a perfect food for the newborn, because it is formulated exactly for the nutritional needs of the baby. And this is a place where also the use of multimineral during pregnancy is going to help the mom, because it will already lay a good foundation of nutrition for the making of the milk that the baby needs. And of course, during this time, the mom will also still be continuing with multimineral to make sure that she does not start suffering from dental problems, which tends to happen when a woman who is not, a new mom who is not having enough minerals may notice that her teeth start to ache and to shake. That may show that she's not getting enough calcium in her diet. So by preparing for this, using multimineral from when the mom is expecting, we would make sure that the needs are already in place. So other things that on a personal level we can recommend as part of a lifestyle is to make a habit of, a breastfeeding mother should have a habit of drinking plenty of water, just plain water, but they can also prepare bone broth. I think in many of our cultures, this was a practice that when a woman had given birth, there would be a bone broth being made for her. And this is because bone broth is very healing and very nutritious. So this is a habit, I think, that we can carry from our ancestors and not to leave it behind, because it's extremely useful for the new mom. We can also use the bone broth to make soups, like vegetable soups and other kinds of soups that the mom can use, so that she's nourished and also well hydrated, because the breastfeeding does require quite a bit of fluid from her system. Then there are advantages in breastfeeding, apart from the fact that it's the perfect nourishment for the baby. It also helps the womb to shrink back into its former size. So this is quite, I know that sometimes ladies are anxious to get back into good shape. Breastfeeding, actually, as the baby breastfeeds, the body automatically causes the uterus to shrink. and go back to its normal size. And also, as the baby is learning to get a healthy appetite, the mom's weight is going to come down naturally. It doesn't have to be forced. The whole process is quite good for both the mom and the baby. Okay, then another thing to add, just as I finish this section, is that breastfeeding is one of the things that helps the baby to develop a good immunity system. We know now that we are living in the times of COVID that the immune system plays a very important role in our overall health. And by helping our babies to develop a good foundation of immunity right from birth, we'll be doing them a great favor. So if it is at all possible, we strongly encourage breastfeeding and having the nutritional supplement to help that. We would recommend, as I said, multimineral to go on. We also recommend NutriShake to make sure that the mom has got plenty of proteins. Of course, the NutriShake is to support the protein that she's already taking in her diet, and we still continue with ProVitality. Then the next stage we'll talk about is for toddlers and early childhood, that is age 2 to around age 5, 6 is what we are talking about. From this, as the baby starts to need more food than what the breast milk can supply, we can move on to giving them nutritious foods, but we recommend that you follow the follow-up food as we start weaning the baby should be as natural as possible. So we can recommend things like mashed fruits, things like avocado, bananas that can be easily mashed up, soups like soups made with things like green grams and bone broth and so on. These can be good starter foods for the young child. What we need to avoid is the foods that are full of refined carbohydrates. And a lot of the tinned foods that we buy for babies tend to have a lot of sugar and a lot of refined carbohydrates. So whenever you can avoid it, rather opt for making porridge from our own types of natural grains so that the child is not introduced to these highly sweetened and highly refined carbohydrates at this early stage. And that way they will develop a taste for natural foods. Because if we start them on as excessively sweetened and excessively processed foods, that is what they will be used to. And when we start trying to change them to more natural foods, they may be reluctant or they may not like it. So if a child learns, for example, I think many of us, I know these small fishes that we call omena in my language, but they are quite common in East Africa and other places. I know even in Southern Africa we have them. They are called kapenta. It could be a good thing to make soups with because it gives the baby and even the family the whole fish. And that way, by using a soup like that, you'll be getting the baby or natural omega-3, you'll be getting them a nutritious source of proteins and plenty of calcium because the fish is there with its bones, its brains, and everything. So it's one that I always recommend very, very highly. So those are the natural foods, but on the supplementation side from Neolife, we can recommend the use of Liquivite as well as NutriShake for the young ones, especially before they're ready to start taking the tablets. So Liquivite is a syrup, and of course NutriShake is a shake, so these ones can help to supplement. And this can also help, for example, if the mom is unable to breastfeed for one reason or another, as the baby develops, NutriShake and Liquivite can supplement whatever is being given to the young one. Then we go on to the stage that we can call late childhood, that is from 7 and above. At this stage, of course, the children are already able to eat food, and it becomes an important time to start introducing them to healthy eating habits. As we said, the natural foods as much as possible, minimum of junk and sweetened food, but at the same time to teach them to eat adequately during meals and to reduce the amount of snacking between meals so that they are used to being able to go from one meal to the next, let's say from breakfast to lunch and from lunch to supper, maybe just having water or a fruit in between. Because one of the problems that leads on to later health and weight problems is the habit of eating all the time. So it's already at age 7, we can already start gearing them towards eating well at meals. And if we notice that the children don't want to eat during meals, we should examine what they eat between meals, because that could be what is causing them to not have a good appetite during their meals. So one way to improve their appetites for healthy food is to minimize the amount of snacks that they have. Because of course, snacks, by the way they have been made, are very tasty, some often very sweet and very attractive to eat, so that the child will want to eat much of that, and where by the time it comes to eating a meal, maybe you have prepared a good, natural, healthy food, they find that they are not really that keen to take it. So it's a good thing to help them to eat during meals and not eat so much in between meals. And if they have to snack, we should opt for healthier snacks such as fruits, rather than some of the packaged snacks that are usually sold to us. Then for their supplementation, once again, as they are learning the importance of good eating habits, we can add to them NutriShake. Maybe they can drink it in the morning with their breakfast, because it's good to have a good protein source in the morning as the day begins. Most of the breakfast stuff that we buy in the shops, the packaged ones, tend to be not very good because of the sugar content. If the child is going to school and they've started the day with a lot of sugar, they are going to struggle to sit still in the classroom, and after a short time, by break time, they will be exhausted because the sugar would have run through their system and left them with no energy. So sugar gives instant quick energy, but it also gets lost just as quickly. So giving them a drink like NutriShake, maybe some egg can also be added to the breakfast if possible, and possibly some fruit. That would be a good start, a good and stable source of nutrition and energy for the young one going to school or starting their day. If they are able to, we can also encourage them to use omega-3 salmon oil. The smaller pill might be easier the smaller capsule might be easier for them to use than the bigger one in the omega-3 that has 90 capsules. But the one that has 60 capsules has got a small capsule that is easier to swallow. If they are not yet able to swallow it, we just wait until they find themselves able to do so. At this stage, we can also introduce Vita Squares and VitaGuards. I find that most parents, I recommend for them to use VitaGuard in the seasons when infections are common. Like, for example, at this time of the year when it is cold and a bit wet, and there's the flu, it can be common. Then we switch from Vita Squares to VitaGuard. And when the weather stabilizes, then we can go back to Vita Squares, or we can use both. Okay, so this is the stage when the child can now suck the Vita Squares and VitaGuards. Then we move to the next stage of the preteens and teenagers. Again, we move to the preteens, that is age between 11 and the teenage years. At this stage, we need to explain very well the importance of the different food groups so that the children understand why our meals are presented in a certain way, that we have got some carbohydrates, we have got some proteins, and we've got some fats, and why each group is important, so that they know that they can't just eat the one thing that they like. So for example, if they like meat, that they only eat meat, or if they like chapati, they only eat chapati, or something like that. It's good at this stage to start explaining that the different foods have different nutrients in them, and why each of the different nutrients should be in the meals for the benefit of a person. So this is a good time to be teaching them about this, because remember, we are preparing our children to take ownership of their own lives, and by teaching them this, they will take these lessons on to their adult lives. Then at this stage, we can recommend, because they are older, maybe they are now able to take the tablets and the capsules more comfortably. So here they can already start with occasional Formula 4, the capsule, or they can stay with 3NN. And we can continue with the NutriShake, because at this stage they are growing quite quickly. And omega-3 salmon oil continues because of the development of the brain, because we know that the human brain continues to develop right through the teenage years up to around the early 20s. So those ones can be recommended. If they are struggling with swallowing them, then they can still continue with the Vita Squares and Vita Guards until they feel comfortable to move on to the capsules and the tablets. Then as they are reaching towards teenage, it's important for us to add multimineral to their supplementation, because for girls, they may have started having their periods and they'll require multimineral to replace the minerals that they are losing. And also for both boys and girls, they undergo a growth spurt. That is, they grow very fast. And so the needs of the body for minerals becomes higher, and that is why it is an important time to add multimineral to the supplementation of the preteens, and they will go on with it through the preteen years and the teenage years. And the final group now are the teenagers. These are our children now as they are moving towards adulthood. So here they are adolescents, which means they are adults under probation. And here we continue with educating them about healthy eating. And of course, we'll have laid the foundation in earlier years, but we can continue. And another way of helping is by encouraging them to help with the meal preparations. For example, during the school holidays, when their days are not busy, they can start learning how to prepare simple meals. And the reason I consider this important is that at a later stage, they may find that they are tempted to eat takeaway all the time. And if they also don't know how to prepare food, then the temptation to live on takeaway becomes very heavy. I noticed with my own children as they grew up and started their life as young adults, they tended to really rely on takeaway foods, and it led to quite a bit of weight gain. This happens to young adults, especially if they are maybe they have started their new job or something and they feel they don't have time to prepare food. So it's good for them at least to know, even if they will be using the fast foods occasionally, it should not be because they don't know how to prepare foods at least some of the days of the week. So that is a useful thing that we can help our teenagers with. And what else did I want to say about that? I also wanted to say it's also a good time to explain the reason why we recommend supplementation, because of course we teach them to eat healthy food, but when we introduce a supplement, we can also explain to them that our meals may not cover all the nutrients that we need, maybe because of the way they are prepared or the way they are grown or our own food preferences. But for that reason, we recommend that there is supplementation in order to fill those gaps in nutrition. And so for teens, we recommend continuing with Formula 4 or Formula 4 Plus, multimineral, as well as NutriShake and omega-3. And I think that is all that I wanted to say. I had a few questions, I think, because my numbers changed, so maybe I'll find that there are other questions in the other number. But the question I had, one was about candidiasis, which is a yeast infection that can affect the mouth and other orifices in the body. And this usually is quite linked to excessive sugar and refined carbohydrates in the diet. So one of the lifestyle habits that we can change is reduce or eliminate refined sugar and minimize the refined carbohydrates. And on the supplementation side for candidiasis, we recommend acidophilus, which is in some of our markets and not in others. If you don't have the acidophilus in your market, then usually I recommend that you use fiber tablets, because the friendly microbes in our gut live on fiber. And so by taking fiber, you will be giving them the food that they like, and that way their numbers will increase. And as I'm always saying, if anyone has contacts that can help us to get acidophilus registered in our different countries where it's not yet registered, it would be a good thing, because it's a good addition to our supplements. Then the other product we could recommend for candidiasis is Botanical Balance. This is a herbal preparation that contains a number of herbs and spices, which are very helpful to the body in managing the sugar system. That is, whatever carbohydrates we take do not become problematic and cause us to have uncontrolled fungal growth in us. And then the other one for ladies who have candidiasis, we recommend herbal feminine complex, because sometimes the candidiasis is linked to hormonal imbalances. Actually, expectant moms can often suffer from candidiasis during pregnancy, especially if their diets are heavy in refined sugar and carbs. Then the other question I got was for urinary tract infections. And the first recommendation for this is that the person should see a doctor so that they can get treatment, maybe with the antibiotics. And however, if the urinary tract infection keeps on being recurrent, that they go for treatment and it comes back, they go and it comes back, then we know that there's something in the system that is not working correctly, and prolonged use of antibiotics may be counterproductive. And that is where from Neolife we recommend that they look for acidophilus, as well as garlic allium complex and flavonoids, to help the body to rectify the balance of microbes in the system, so that they don't have these unfriendly microbes causing the urinary tract infection. And I think my time has wound up. So I want to pass over to Pascal to do his session. And I want to thank you very much for joining us once again, this time in Nairobi. It's with great pleasure. And I hope that as the month now is heading for its last stretch, we should push so that we work towards the goals that we have for the month of June. And of course, I wish you all the best in your efforts. And I hope that the session has done something to help you towards that goal. Thank you very much. Here is Pascal now.
Thank you very much, Betty. Good evening, everybody. I think now that we know what nutritional supplements that we need to give our children, now let's see how we can make money to help our families lead a very decent life. When your daughter or your son comes to you and says, "Mommy, I've been invited to go to a very good school," you can say to your son or your daughter, "Yes, we have money that we've got from Neolife." So I want to spend the next few minutes with you explaining the key aspects of the things that help us to build very strong businesses. So if you give me a minute, I want to share the screen with you. All right. So let me put the slideshow so that it can be clearer to when you watch the screen. Just one moment. All right, so a few things I want to speak about. And I think this is one of the most important skills of developing in this business. Our business is very simple, but it's not an easy business, because you need to learn how to get new information. Our business is very, very unique in the sense that there's no industry that, or there's no profession where you are constantly learning new things to build yourself and to build your business. Number two, your income is always linked to how much you've developed yourself as a person. So there are two skills I would like to discuss with you today. The first one is called the inviting skill. The second one is presenting the business idea. But before I explain those two key skills, I know maybe there are some people who are watching this presentation and are not distributors yet, or they have just started the business. What is the goal of our business? The goal of our business is to build a large network of many people doing a few simple things for a continuous basis. That is what our business is. And what are these continuous things? That we train our people to use the products, to retail some products, and also to recruit and train others to do what we do. And that's where our income comes from, because Neolife doesn't advertise. So what we do is we advertise the products on behalf of Neolife by word of mouth advertisement, that is person to person. But how do you build a team of people? You build a team of people by, number one, building up a prospect list. That is a list of people that you want to show the business. Once you've done that, the next thing you need to do is how to invite people to look at the business. How would you do that? First of all, I think that inviting is a gateway skill to our business. What does that mean? It means it's the one skill that you need to master to be able to succeed in this business. Inviting simply means that you want your prospect to have a look at what our business is, the products, the compensation plan, what our business is offering. It's the gateway skill to our business. It means it's the first skill I would recommend that you really need to study and master so that you're able to build a large team of distributors. But the second thing about this inviting skill, it has to become part of your daily method of operation. That means that every single day you need to be inviting 2 to 3 people to look at our business. Why is that important? If you're a banker, if you're a doctor, an engineer, whatever career that you're involved in, you go to your place of work every single day. If you own a retail shop, if you own a salon, if you own a matatu or a taxi, you're always at your business premise every single day in order to serve customers. We need to transport the same attitude towards our business so that every single day we need to invite people to look at our business. So you have to make inviting part of your daily method of operation. That is, every single day, you need to be inviting people to see our business. One of the most important skills about inviting is that you need to create an atmosphere of trust. People will look at our business if they know you, they like you, and trust you. Because when people are suspicious or people don't quite like you, they're very reluctant to look at what you're proposing or inviting them to look at. So you need to create an atmosphere of trust. And that means you need to learn to tell your prospects the correct information about our business, but also you need to learn how to share your story. Now, when you're inviting your prospects, you're inviting them to do 2 things, either to an event or to view a tool. An event is, for example, a Zoom presentation, or we have a face-to-face meeting, 1-to-1 or 2-to-1, or when they meet as a group, 10 people, 15 people. Those days when people used to meet at big venues. At the moment, I don't think people are meeting in big venues. But the idea is to invite them for an event or to view a tool. What is a tool? A tool is things like videos, Zoom meetings, magazines, CDs, something that your prospect can look at to give them an idea on what our business is. But the other very important thing about inviting is you need to learn how to ask the right questions. What is that? What is a qualifying question? It is a question that is aimed at your prospect to see if the business is suitable for them or if they're actually interested in the business. For example, asking your prospect, are you open to look at a way to generate extra income? Or would you like a way to generate more money working on a part-time basis? That is asking the right question. You ask that question so that the prospect can reveal to you if they are suitable for the business. But a few things that I would like to mention when you're doing the inviting. There are 4 key things that you need to develop in order to be successful in inviting. The first one is this: you need to detach yourself emotionally from the outcome. What does that mean? You see, I remember when I started the business, I was very, very excited about the business, and I saw clearly how the business is built and how much money you can make, because I had seen how much Charlie Bolton was making. I had seen what Hansi Cronje was. All our upline leaders, I knew how much money they were making. So I got very excited and emotional about everybody who sees the business should actually join. But I became frustrated because some people would not see what I was seeing. And after a while, my upline told me, look, This business is not for everybody. And number one. Number two, some people will not see what you're seeing. So you need to detach yourself emotionally from the outcome of what the prospect says. And when I took that advice, I found out that it was easier actually to share the business with people. So you need to detach yourself emotionally from the outcome of what the prospect will say. Number two, you need to be yourself. Don't be exaggerate things or be overly excited or enthusiastic. It doesn't mean that you should not be excited about your business. The thing is, you need to be yourself. You need to be the person you are today, tomorrow, yesterday, so that you don't appear as if what you're doing is made up. So be yourself. The third thing is be enthusiastic. Enthusiasm is the energy you have inside your heart that you have towards the business. And when you're enthusiastic about something, your prospects will know. They will actually sense that this person is completely convinced about this business. So be enthusiastic. And the last one, be bold and confident. The word I would like to use here is called posture. Posture simply means that you know the business so well, you believe in the business so much that you would like to invite your prospect to look at the business and experience the joy of what you're doing in the business. So being bold and confident means that you develop a strong posture for explaining or inviting people to have a look at the business. But some of the tools that we have in our videos are videos, YouTube videos, Zoom meetings, magazines, CDs. These are things which are professionally done or professionally prepared by leaders or the company that exposes your prospects to some professionally done material. Okay? For example, the YouTube video the company has developed is about 3 minutes long and it's very well done. It doesn't give the detail of the business, but it gives the prospects the desire to ask more questions. Okay? The Zoom meetings are done professionally by somebody experienced. The magazines, the CDs, all these are tools that helps our business to grow. What I have learned through the business is that the more tools you use, the faster your business will grow. Why? You need to learn to shift attention from you to the tools. Why am I saying that? If you know how to present the business very clearly and excited about it, it's quite easy for you to overwhelm your prospect with information. Remember, the prospects will join not because of the information you've given them, but the story that they hear about what the business has done. Okay? And that leads me to how to present the business. A few notes about presenting the business idea. One, you need to direct your prospect to an event or to a tool. Why is that important? That is important because it's duplicatable, if there is such a word as duplicatable. You need to do what duplicates, not what works. For example, if you're very good at explaining the business, some of the people in your team may not be as good as you are. And that is why you need to do what duplicates. That means you need to learn how to invite people to an event or to learn how to invite them to look at a tool so that the tool or the event does explanation of what the business is for you. That's very important. Do what duplicates, not what works for you. All right? The other thing you need to, I want to recommend to you, which I found very true in the business, is the person with the marker makes the most money. What does that mean? The person who has learned how to present the business over and over again is the one who will expose the business to many more people and eventually become a business and successful leader in the business. The fourth aspect is learn to craft your story. Because the thing that makes the people join the business actually is the stories they listen to. I remember at one time we did the presentation, and one of the people who was sharing her story was a previous banker, how she got laid off and she was feeling so bad and sorry for herself. She was wondering, what am I going to do now that I've been laid for, after working for the bank for 17 years? And her friend invited her to sue the business. And that really changed her life. Now, one of our prospects listened to that story and 2 or 3 days later joined the business. So learn to craft your story, learn to tell your story. What are the 4 aspects of telling your story? 1, your background, what you've been doing before you met the business. 2, the things you didn't like about your background. What is it that drove you to look at the business, or what is it that drove you to have a look at the products or the business? Number 3, how Neolife came to your rescue. That means, how has Neolife positively affected your life, either in terms of the products or in terms of the income you've generated from the business. And number 4, your results and how you see the future. Your result simply means, what results have you achieved from the business? Either financial success or the products have helped you to overcome a certain health challenges you've had. And then how do you see the future? These 4 aspects are the things that help you to craft your story very well. The second part of presenting the business, you need to master this Neolife standard presentation. I would recommend, if you are new in the business or you're just starting off, speak to your upline leader so that they can send you the standard Neolife presentation. Okay? And all the standard Neolife presentations have got the following 4 elements. Number 1, your story. Learn how to tell your story. Number 2, develop the need. That means that you need to explain to your prospects or the people you're presenting the business to the reason why they need to join the business, either because of poor health or because they want something they can pass down to your children, or they want something that they can increase their income earning ability that normal jobs or other businesses do not provide. The third aspect of the presentation is introducing Neolife as a company and how the business actually works. The 3 daily success habits that we do: using the products, sharing the business and the products, and then personal development. This is called the logic. That is explaining how the business actually works. And then the last part is the call to action. Call to action simply means, once you've shown people the business, you need to tell them what to do next. That means, go back to the person who invited you. They will give you an application form. If you have any question, ask them, but get started in the business. Call to action is the last part of presenting the business. So you, as a distributor, either new or old, learn how to master the Neolife standard presentation. Okay? There are many variations depending on the team type, but those 4 aspects of presenting the business are all standard. Develop your story, tell your story, develop the need, introduce Neolife and how the business works by doing the 3 basic things: using the products, sharing the business and the products, and personal development, and then the call to action. But the other thing about presentation is, there is no shortcut to preparation. You need to prepare and prepare and prepare until you're almost able to do this thing with your eyes closed. I remember when I was new in the business, I attended a few presentations, and we were actually given a guideline on how to do the presentation. And I would practice presenting the business at home, in the bathroom, in the car when going to the office, in the office when I would get a break. I did this so often that after 2 months, I was quite proficient in explaining the business to prospects. So the key thing to be a good presenter is practice, okay? But the last aspect of the things I want to share with you is how to rate leaders. Remember about leadership. The key to true leadership is not you to be the only leader, but how many leaders are you raising in your team? That is a true mark of a leader. The more leaders you raise, the more successful you're going to become, and the larger will be a business. So learn to raise leaders in your team, because these are the people who are going to carry forward the message of this business, of Neolife. But how do you do that? The first thing is, you need to learn how to identify leaders. Okay, they may not be leaders at that time, but you need to learn how to identify potential leaders. Number 1, they are committed to learning. They have hunger for knowledge. They ask you questions, they buy material, they attend meetings, They do not make excuses. Leaders are always have a hunger for success and a hunger for knowledge. So the first thing you're going to identify about potential leaders is they are committed to learning. The second thing is they do not give excuses. They are very action oriented. When something has to be done, they are there and they do what it takes to be done. The third one is they attend events and seek your assistance and guidance on how to build the business, on how to become better leaders. These are the key things that will give you an idea on who is a good leader, all right? Or who has the potential to become a good leader. The other aspect is they live integrity as a matter of principles. Integrity is doing the right things when nobody is watching. So if you see people who live integrity as a matter of principle, that's a very good sign that they are potential leaders. So once you've got or you identify who these leaders are, the next thing is you need to learn how to raise leaders. Number one, avail them resources. Things like books, CDs, training events, YouTube videos, avail them resources that they can use to build themselves out in terms of knowledge and skill and the right attitude. The second thing of raising leaders, edify them to their team. One of the things that makes your leaders more effective is if you edify your leaders or the people you're building as leaders to their team. Why? Because it makes their lives much easier. The third aspect is inspire them to have a vision and share your vision with them. You see, one of the hallmarks of a leader is when people have a vision for the future. Because what is a vision? A vision is a picture or what is expected the future to look at. A vision is something you have in your heart and mind that creates urgency in your life for a better future. So share your vision with your team, and if you want to identify leaders, inspire your people to have visions for their life. Your vision and theirs may be different, but each of us has a vision of the things you want to achieve in the future. The other thing, you need to counsel with them regularly. That means meet them one-on-one, have a cup of coffee, go to lunch. If it's a long distance, get on the phone, have a chat with them, find out how they're doing, what books they're reading, the challenges they're having. Counsel them at least once a month so that you can get them back on track, because you see, it's very easy to be successful if somebody else is also helping you to walk on the right path. Okay? And the last one is believe in your leaders. There's nothing that is effective in developing other people than to know that their sponsor or their mentor believes in them. And sometimes we don't believe in ourselves. When we start the business, somebody else believes in us until we develop the belief in ourselves. So believe in your leaders, and this is what will create other leaders in your group. Believing in them means, first, you trust that they'll do the right thing. Number two, if they make a mistake, they're willing to learn from their mistakes. And number three, you don't do everything for them. That is what believing in your leaders is. If you attend to those principles, avail them resources to grow, edify them in front of their teams, inspire them to have a vision, counsel with them very regularly, and believe in them. If you do that, you will find that you will raise many, many leaders in your group. And that really is the essence of our business. Our business, the essence is to develop other leaders in our group so that in our absence, we find people who can actually grow this business to incredible heights. So that is what I wanted to share with you this afternoon. I want to thank you very much for attending this meeting. I see those of you who had children in the, okay, let me address the children now. The children, if you're listening with your parents, ask your parents if you have been taking notes. And if they have not been taking notes, remind them of what we shared in this discussion so that they can make all the money that you want. If you come and ask them for things, they said, okay, we remembered what Pascal and Betty said. We've built a good business. Now we can take you for a holiday. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much. I really appreciate you attending this presentation. I see Joyce King there is smiling from all the way in Umtata in South Africa. I can tell you we are enjoying Nairobi. I see people from different parts of Kenya. We really appreciate you attending this meeting. I would like to hand over back to Gladys to close our meeting. Oh, I see Mr. Charles Betts, engineer. Engineer, thank you so much. We enjoyed the Saturday with the training with you. So I really appreciate and thank you very much for this meeting. Grace Wambui, thank you very much for attending this meeting. Who else is in the training today? Maureen, thank you so much for attending the meeting. Gideon Mumo, I think, you know, the first time I met Gideon Mumo, I thought Gideon Mumo was Luo, but his company speaks fluently my mother tongue. So Mumo, I really appreciate your friendship. And Njeri, I see Njeri is wearing a Stetson. I don't know where she is at the moment. So I appreciate all of you for attending this meeting. I'd like to wish you the very best for the month of June, and we'll see you on Monday during our presentation. Gladys, back to you.
Wow, thank you so much, Pascal and Betty. We are honored. On behalf of Paul, who was traveling, I think it's just always a pleasure to have my uplines always there for us, so consistent. We thank you and we ask God to keep blessing you. Otherwise, East Africa, from wherever you are, this was a great session. Let's see you again in the coming week. God bless.